Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about the inline positioning. So you can see over here, we have an element tree. We have a block, which is a display block as well by default. And it's got three children. One of them is a text block, which is an inline element. And the image, a small image, this is also set to inline block, or it can be inline, doesn't matter really. And we have a span, again, by default, it's inline. So they're all inline children of different sizes. And the block layout, by default, it lays them in the same line. But exactly where the children are is still, can be adjusted by certain styles. And namely, that's the vertical align style. So the children can actually say where they want to be in relation to the line, and they have certain defaults. And the vertical align can override that. This style can override where they want to be. So let's give it a try over here with the image. So we have by default it's the baseline, which is corresponding to the text baseline over here. Sub is basically the subscript. So if there was a subscript over here, it's aligned to that. So it's just a little bit lower than the regular text. And top is it's basically making sure that all the elements are top aligned as much as to this element. So as you can see, the text block, the other text block is aligned to this. And middle is putting them in between them, so it aligns it. And then the line height, you can see here, that's really interesting. So the block is laying them in a line, but what's the line height in this case? So the line height, if you look at the block line height over here, it's nothing, and by default it's set to auto. So what that means is, it's going to try to lay all of them in the line, and then it's going to determine what the line height should be. So this one being middle, it changes the line height altogether. So you can see over here, it's slightly longer, but if we set it to top, for example, it's much lower, so smaller. So it gets shorter. So we can do text bottom, which aligns it to the bottom of the text. This is also another common option. Super, wherever the super text would be. And text top, that's an interesting one. It lays them side by side with the text. And the bottom, again, it just aligns it with all the elements on the bottom. So, and it can be custom set as well. So you can actually align it exactly where you want each element to be. And you can go negative values as well. So it can be very, very fine tuned, and it can be a very valuable tool for positioning the elements. The other elements can be positioned as well, so it's not just the image. It's interesting, again, based on their vertical position, the line height changes in the parent. And if you actually, instead of auto, if you set a particular line height, then everything, all the other calculations change with it as well, because now they may not be constrained by the line height. It's not being automatically calculated, but once it exceeds a certain level, then yeah, it's going to be impacting it as well. So that's basically how the vertical align works in the block layout. Now there's one more case where this is used. So let me just add a little table over here. And let's come to this cell, and I'm going to increase its height a little bit. And let's increase the width too. And so you can see by default it's centering it, but in some cases you may want to have a different kind of style over here. So in those cases you can actually use vertical align too. So that's actually in the layout, and you actually have to set the table cell display explicitly, and then the vertical align will become available, and you can say, for example, top, and that's going to be effective here as well. But the primary use is like the one that I just showed for aligning mostly images and text, and that's how the inline positioning works. Thank you very much for watching.